Chapter 8, Female Reproductive System. In this chapter, we will pronounce organs and anatomical structures and define and spell word parts of the female reproductive system. We'll also look at the disease and disorder terms and surgical terms related to the female reproductive system. Looking at the female reproductive organs in this graphic, as we mentioned in the female reproductive system, there's also a crossover in the urinary system with the male system, or male and female system. The specific organs and structures in the female system that relate to reproductive purposes are the ovary. Kind of it begins here with the ovary producing the egg or the ovocyte, and the egg then moves through the fallopian tube. In this reference, they refer to it as uterine fallopian tube. Most commonly, you hear it referred to as fallopian tube, however. Then into the uterus, and this is where implantation happens and the fetus or baby starts to grow. So those are the primary structures and organs here. Looking at the structures again from more of an anterior view, in this case, we have the ovary here where the egg is produced, that as it releases is captured and goes into the fallopian tube. They've shown both tubes here in this case, but as it goes into the fallopian tube, it is typically fertilized at that point, then moves down into the uterus where it then attaches to the uterine wall and begins to grow. And then there's some other structures here as well. Of course, the cervix is a key part, and the vagina is a key part of the systems. Here we're looking at the external organs or the structures that form towards the outside of the skin of the body. The vulva, the clitoris, and the mammary glands of the breast tissue. The internal organs, which of course are those that are inside the body, are the vagina, the uterus, the fallopian tubes or uterine tubes, and the ovaries. Another structure we see is the Bartholin's gland. The term Bartholin is an acronym deriving it from the person who described it first, and that was Caspar Bartholin, who was an anatomist. This is located lower in the reproductive system, and it's stated to be just above the vaginal opening or just superior to the vaginal opening. And it is a glandular duct-like system. And then we also have breast tissue or female breast. In this case, it begins most internally with pectoral muscles. Then it goes into some of the mammary tissue, such as the lobules, the areola, which is the coloring around the nipple part of the breast. Examples of combining forms in this chapter relating to the anatomy are cervix. We would see that as cervico or trachelo. Uterus as hystero, and just kind of an interesting point here. In ancient Greece, this was actually coming from the same word part as hysterical was at that time, and that was because they believed that the womb or the uterus was a source of mental disturbance in women. Now, we know now that in Greek, hysteria means a disease of the womb or the uterus, which is more accurate to today's understanding of the term, but just kind of interesting of where that term actually came from. Vagina is vagino, and breast is mammo or masto. Ovary is pronounced oophouro. Some other combining forms you may see in relationship to the female reproductive system include hemato, which refers to blood. Hydro means water. Leuco refers to white. Myo means muscle. Olgio means scanty or few. And pio means pus. Prefixes, we see some repeated here again. A means absence of or without. Dys or dys means painful, abnormal, difficult, or labored. And endo means within. And peri means surrounding, outer, or could mean around. So suffix examples we see are clasis, which means surgical closure, osis or osis, which means abnormal condition, raphe, which means suturing or repair, rhea means flow or discharge, and salpinx, which means fallopian tube or uterine tube.